Simple interest. When we deposit money into a bank, we are essentially lending it to the bank. So in turn, the bank uses those funds to make loans to other customers for things like cars or homes. In exchange for using our money, the bank pays us interest, which is a small amount of money added to our account. So we will learn how to calculate simple interest. So simple interest formula is I for the interest, P is the amount of money we give to the bank, R is the interest rate, usually in percentage per year, and T is the time period, usually in years. If needed, we will convert to years. So interest rate and time needs to be exactly the same per the same unit. And I is the interest, some commonly call it interest, but it's the final amount of money we get. So calculate the simple interest earned in 1 year on a deposit of 2,000 if the interest rate is 4%. 4%, if they don't say it per what time is the 4%, that means per year annual. So we're gonna use the simple interest. First, we need to change the 4% to decimal. So as we remember, 4% is 4 per 100. So it's 0.04 if we type this on calculator. Then we're using the simple interest rate formula. P is equal to RT. So my interest would be equal 2,000 is my principal or initial amount times 0.04 times 1 year. P is my principal, how much money we deposit. R is the interest rate in decimal, and T is the time, 1 year. So if we type all of that on calculator, we should get simply 80. So the interest paid is $80 on that investment. Example 2. Calculate the simple interest due to a 4-month loan of 1,500 if the interest rate is 6.5. So first we're gonna change the 6.5 into decimal. So this is 6.5 out of 100. So this gives me 0.065. Then my time T is 4 months. 4 months out of 1 year. So it's 4 months out of 1 year. 1 year, so it's 4 months. 1 year is 12 months. So we have 4 out of 12, or if we simplify, is 1/3. Because we can divide this by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4, it's 1/3. So if we have time, which is how long it takes, not given in years, we always, if it's in month, we divide by how many months is there. If it's per day, we would divide by how many days in a year we have. So then we're using the simple interest formula. I is equal to PRT. My P is 1,500. My R is 0.065 and my T is 1/3. Then we can substitute 1,500 times 0.065 times 1/3. And if we punch this on calculator, we getting that the interest is equal to 32.5. So The interest is $32.50. Example 3. Calculate simple interest due to a 2-month loan of $600 if the interest rate is 3.5%. So 3.5% change to decimal, it's 3.5 out of 100, 0.035. Time is 2 months out of 12 months, so it's 1/6. If we divide this by 2, divide by 2. I have 2 months. 2 months is out of 12 months, so it's 1/6 of the year, 1/6 of a year. And then my principal is the amount, so P is $600. Then we're using simple interest formula, PRT. Then we substitute that it's 600 times interest is 0.035, time is 1/6. Time is 1/6, interest is 0.635. So if we punch everything on calculator, we should get that the interest is 3.5, or in other words, $3.50. Because 600 out of 600 and a small percentage, and we only do it for 2 months, which is 1/6 of a year. Example 4. Calculate the simple interest due to a 3-month loan of 1,000 if the interest rate is 1.5 per month. So interest is per month and loan is per month. So we need to either change both of them per year, or we need to calculate in months. So if we want a per year, time would be 3 out of 12, which is 1/4 of a year. Then the interest would be 1.5 per month, 1.5% per month, times 12 months. So this would be 18% per year. Or in decimal would be 0.18. Then we can calculate that the interest is 1,000. Let's write the interest formula first. PRT, so interest is 1,000 times 0.18 times 1/4. And that interest is 45, or $45 together. We also could have done this example differently. We could, since the 3 months and interest is per month, we can use them as is. So this we could have calculated interest is equal to 1,000 times percent, 1.5% would be 0.015 times 3 months. So this is the 1.5% is 0.5. And if you calculate this, this should also give you 45. So the interest is $45, no matter which way you calculate. We could only use this 3 as is because it's in months and it's in months. So if those two agree, we can use it as is. Otherwise, we need to change it to years. So I have year and I have interest per year on this example. Future value, or the maturity value formula for simple interest, is the amount. So if we add the how much we deposited initially, principal, times plus the interest that this one, that is gonna be called the maturity value or the future value. So calculate the maturity value of a simple interest 8 months loan of 5,000 if the interest is 9.5. So first we're gonna calculate interest and then we would add it to the principal, to the initial amount of money. So we have 9.5%. This is my rate. I'm gonna change it 9.5 out of 100, so 0.095. Now the time is 8 months out of 12, so it's gonna be 4 or 2/3. If we divide this by 4, divide by 4, 2/3 of a year. This one is per year. So then we have that the interest is PRT. So interest is 5,000 times 0.095 times 2/3. So that interest is 316.6666. So the interest is 316.67. Now my future value, maturity value, is the initial amount plus the interest. So the amount is 5,000 plus 316.67. So the initial amount is 5,316.67. That's my maturity value. Example 6. Calculate the maturity value of a simple interest 9 months loan of 4,000 if the interest is 8.25%. So the interest rate is 8.25%. So that means it's 8.25 divided by 100, 0.085825. So now the time is 9 months out of 12. We can divide this by 3, or if we punch it 0.75, we should get it right away. So then the interest is PRT. So interest is 4,000 times 0.825 times 0.75. So the interest is 247.50. Then the maturity value is the original amount plus the interest. So the maturity value is 4,000 plus 247.50. So the maturity value is 4,247.50. Example 7. Calculate the maturity value of a simple interest 3 months loan of 2,500 if the interest is 7.5%. So interest rate is 7.5%, which is 7.5 out of 100, which is 0.075. Time t is 3 out of 12. 3 out of 12 is 0.25, 1/4 or 0.25. Interest is PRT, so interest is 2,500 times 0.075 times 0.25. So interest is 46.875. So this is approximately $46.88. And then the maturity value is the principal plus the interest. So maturity value is 2,500 plus 46.88. So the principal is equal to 2,546 and 88 cents. If we deposit to the bank P amount and we get interest, that is interest P or T, then we get A is equal principal plus interest. We can substitute for that interest this formula here, and then we can factor the P out of this. If we factor P out, we get 1 plus RT. So this formula is for maturity value of the simple interest. So we can substitute all together and calculate all together. Or in 2 steps is okay too. Calculate the maturity value of simple interest on 1 year loan of 5,500 if the interest is 8.75. So first the interest we change 8.75%. We're gonna equal 8.75 out of 100, which is 0.0875. Time is 1 year. So then this we can use this formula all together, that this is equal P 1 plus RT. So the maturity value is 5,500 times 1 plus 0.0875 times 1. So this is 5,500 times 1.0875. So this should give us that the amount is 5,981 and 25 cents.